I want to take a moment and talk about some of the things that we're doing in Module 1 and how your Moodle course is set up. So under Module 1, creating a flyer, we have two sections, your learning materials and your graded assignments. So under your learning materials, there's a couple of things that you're going to find to kind of support your textbook. The first is going to be the essential questions and learning outcomes. When you click that link, it's going to kind of briefly describe some of the tasks that we're going to do in this module. As you can see, we're going to work with graphics. We're going to learn how to actually format text. A big piece is talking about the publisher window and kind of understanding how it is similar but yet very different from other applications that you have used, particularly Microsoft Word. It talks about graphics, how we insert a photo, how we work with these objects, printing a publication, although printing is not required because we're in an online class. But if you want to practice doing any printing, you certainly can. And last but not least, how to save a publication as a web application. So the big takeaways from this module are for you to understand what is desktop publishing. Okay, so you guys, the prerequisite for this course was the completion of OST 136, which was word processing. And in that class, you all spent 16 weeks learning and Microsoft Word. Okay, and we took that to a very intermediate level. So you have to have, all of you have completed the OST 136 course. And in the OST 233 course, this course, you're going to learn Microsoft Publisher. So we do want you to understand a big takeaway right here from the beginning is kind of seeing the similarities as well as the big differences between Microsoft Word and Publisher. And a big takeaway from this module as well is how and why do we use and create flyers. So you're going to be creating a couple of flyers in this particular module. So it is a great way to start to learn to use Microsoft Publisher. And again, we really want you to see the differences and similarities between Microsoft Publisher and Microsoft Word. So this just kind of goes over your learning outcomes and some of the big key takeaways from the module. There's a PowerPoint presentation for you, as well as if there are any videos or help files that I want to share, they will always be included under the learning materials. This video here, if you click on that link, will actually take you to a video where they go over the basics of the Microsoft Publisher window. Ironically, this video is exactly the template that you're working with in Module 1. So I think you're going to find that video extremely helpful in helping you get started. So those are the learning materials for Module 1. And like you have seen at this point, we're using a tutorial textbook. Most of you have completed Intro to Computers, CS 110. All of you have completed OST 136, word processing. This textbook is the exact same type of textbook that we use in our other software applications courses. Some of you might have taken spreadsheets. This is a tutorial book. So at this point, you guys are very, very familiar with how we use a tutorial textbook. We know that we have the textbook project, which is the module tutorial, and you walk through that page by page, step by step. These tutorials are a great way for you to learn how to do something because it walks you through it step by step, and it provides lots of screenshots within the module so that you can confirm that your screen is looking like the textbook screenshots. And then at the end, after you finish your textbook project, you move on to the lab assignments at the end of the book. The big difference between this course and what you might have had in some of the previous classes is that we do not use SAM. So SAM does not accompany this textbook. So we're doing the same types of labs, but you're going to submit them all to me for grading right here in Moodle. So we will not use SAM in this course. So when you jump down to the graded assignments, each module, you're going to have a quiz. Remember, you can take that quiz as many times as you would like until you're satisfied with your grade. Your highest score will always be in the grade book. The quiz questions come directly from the module reading. Okay, it comes directly from the module reading. The lab assignments. So the first message that I'm going to give you is that you should use this link to submit the compressed, zipped, mean the same thing, Module 1 assignments folder. So this right here is what you should name your folder. So you should have a folder for every module that we're going to do in this course. So make sure that you have a folder, and all of your files from that module will go in that one folder. When I click on this link, It's going to take me to the area that shows me what are the Module 1 assignments. And you see that you have 3. The tutorial, which means you're working through the module, and you're going to create this 5K flyer, okay? And again, this is the tutorial. Then you have 2 labs. Remember, once you do the tutorial or the textbook project, that's where a lot of the learning takes place. And then when you do your labs and you have lab 1 and lab 2, those are shorter scenarios that you can demonstrate that you understand how to do those things that you learned in the tutorial. So you have lab 1, which is creating a multi-purpose flyer, and lab 2, which is creating or customizing a flyer. So I give you the file names that you should use for each of these. Okay, so all 3 of these files will be in a Module 1 assignments folder. Let's go take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to click over here on my folder, and I'm going to show you what I have created. So here is my Module 1 assignments folder. And if I double click on that folder, it's going to take me inside to show the 3 files that I have worked on from Module 1. Now, you hear me say 3 files, and I actually have 4 that I'm showing you. What you have noticed is that in the tutorial and in the labs, they tell you to, once you're done with that flyer, to save it as a web page. And I didn't specify that in the directions, so it's okay if you don't turn the web version of these files in. If you do, great. If you don't, that's okay. So I really just need these 3, but if you want to stick the web ones in there, that's cool as well. It's the same file. All you're doing is saving it as a web page versus a Microsoft Publisher. And then I can open it in a web browser, but it looks identical. So again, it's up to you whether or not you want to put them in that folder. So these are this is a preview of some of the work that you're going to be doing. So here is that 5K flyer. One nice thing that you probably have noticed about the textbook is that it shows you before the chapter or module even starts, it shows you this picture of what it's going to look like. So I encourage you to use that as a reference, because before you submit your work, you should always check on the accuracy of what you've done. That means compare your file to the screenshot in the book, and they should pretty much be identical. Okay, so this is that 5K flyer. Here is the computer club. Okay, so this is the computer club flyer, and this is lab 1-1. So again, you're using the exact same skill sets that you used or that you learned when completing the module. And here is the last one, which is the tutoring flyer, which is lab 1-2. So these are all 3 of the flyers that you're going to include in that module folder. And again, your tutorial is where you do the learning and the practicing, and then you apply it in both of the labs. Anything that the lab 1 and lab 2 asked you to do, they showed you and demonstrated in the tutorial. So don't be afraid to go back in the tutorial to figure out how to do some of the tasks that are going on in both of these labs. Okay, so that's just kind of a preview. Again, I encourage you to just check your work prior to submitting to make sure everything looks according to how the textbook shows you. Now, once you are done, you're going to take this folder and you're going to zip it or compress it so that you can upload it in Moodle. I do have my assignment link in Moodle set to only take 1 file. That means that you can't upload each of those flyers to Moodle. I'm only accepting 1 file because I want you to compress it. Okay, that just makes it a little bit easier for me to keep up with everyone's work if you put all the files in 1 folder. So how do we compress that folder? I'm going to right click the folder, send to, compress file. Okay, so those are the steps. Right click the folder, send to, compressed file. Now, one thing I'll point out to you, you do not need to download any kind of file compression utility like WinZip or any of that stuff. Windows, the operating system, has a built-in file compression utility. So I'm going to go ahead and click compress file. Notice that it creates a duplicate folder identical to the original, and I'll just click, but it has a zipper on it. You guys see that zipper? And this is the file that has been compressed, and as you can see in the file type, and you are able to submit this file in Moodle. So when you come over here to Moodle and you're ready to go, and my view looks a little bit different because I'm not logged in as a student, but you'll see an add submission button, and this is the file, the zipped file or folder that you're going to send to me in Moodle to grade. When I get it, I'm going to unzip it so that I can see all the contents of that folder. Okay, so again, make sure that you zip up the folder. Don't go in and zip these individual files, and nor will you be able to send me these individual files. Everything needs to be in a folder. And this too will help you guys keep your stuff very organized, because you do want to keep up with your work. Okay, now, so those are the assignments, and you see the due date in Moodle. And again, this is a pretty easy way to get started. Creating a flyer is going to really get you in tune with what is this publisher window, because it looks a little bit different than the other applications that you are accustomed to using. Just like the differences between Word and Excel, there are differences in Microsoft Publisher, as you can see, and they have some overlap and some differences, and you'll be able to see some of the nice purposes for Publisher. And again, so we're just creating some flyers, which is a good starting point for the course. So hopefully this video was beneficial to you as we get ready to embark on learning all about Microsoft Publisher, and particularly about this Module 1. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.